We read in the Parsha how Bilam was commissioned to curse Klal Yisrael. Vayokum Bilam ba'boker, vayachvo shesasono. Bilam rises in the morning and he hitches his donkey. Vayelechim sori mov. We know from Bilam, just from the whole narrative, how pompous he was, how self-absorbed he was. And as it says in Pirkei Avos, the difference between Talmidei Avram Avinu, Talmidei Bilam, is Ruach Gevoah. He had an arrogance, he had an inflated spirit. And yet the Torah tells us he's a man who had slaves, he had servants, he had attendants, and Torah tells us he hitched his own donkey. So Rashi cites Chazal, Mikan Shasinima Kalkelis Ashura. And here we see that hate, rabid hate, disrupts protocol. Shechoveshu ba'atzmo. He hitched his own donkey. Omer HaKadosh Baruch Hu Rosha. Kadosh Baruch Hu says to him, Roshu, evil one, Kvar Kodmecha Avrom Aviem. Shenemar Vayashkim Avram Babok V'Yachrish Chamoro. Avram Avinu was a wealthy man. He was proclaimed to be the Prince of God. He had unlimited wealth. At the time of the Akedah, he was 137 years old. A man of that age, of that wealth, of that status, he should hitch his own donkey. Chazal tell us, Avim Mekalkel Ashura. Just as sin of Mekalkel Ashura, as hate disrupts protocol, intense love also overrides protocol. What exactly is the understanding of this? A person who has intense hate and he's totally subsumed and consumed by that hate, at that moment, all that exists is to address that objective. When a person is so consumed by that, at that moment, all that exists is the objective. Nothing else exists, including himself. So Bilam, as a person, was arrogant, was pompous, had suffered from megalomania. That's what he was. But that's only when he had a sense of himself. But because his objective was to destroy Klal Yisrael, and he believed he was able to bring this about, at that moment, all that existed was Klal Yisrael and the objective to destroy them. Therefore, whatever that would take, he's there. Therefore, he hitched his own donkey. Lahavdil, ha'avam ha'kalkel sashura. Avram's love for HaKadosh Baruch Hu was at such a level that when he was told to take his son to the Akedah, which was the ultimate test, at that moment, all that existed was Ratzon Hashem, was the will of Hashem. And because of his Avos Hashem, his love for God, he was totally subsumed by that. Avram Avinu at that moment did not exist. A man of 137 years did not exist. His wealth did not exist. That he was recognized by the world as the Prince of God did not exist. All that existed at that moment was to do the will of Hashem. Therefore, Vayachush is Chamoro. He hitched his own donkey. That's Avim B'Kalkel Sashura, Vasin B'Kalkel Sashura. Chazal, the Gemara tells us in Sanhedrin, regarding the Posuk in Mishlei, that it says, Yisho Yiras Hashem Hitisalo, the woman who has Yiras Shamayim, she's the one, and Ato Lisal Kulona, that's the ultimate level. So the Gemara says that this is Dorasha Rabbi Yehuda bar Rabbi Eloi. This is the generation of Rabbi Yehuda bar Rabbi Eloi, that they were so impoverished and they had such a love for Torah, they were so dedicated to Torah, Sheshisha Miskasin B'Talis Achas, that 6 Talmidei Chachomim, they'd cover themselves with one talis, meaning their material setting was totally irrelevant. All that mattered was what? The study of Torah. And it says when he would sit in Shuk Elyon of Yerushalayim, the upper market of Yerushalayim, his garment was in the lower Shuk, in the lower market. Meaning he was totally oblivious to anything other than the Torah itself. All that, when he studied Torah engaged, all that existed at that moment was the Torah study. His material situation, his status situation, nothing mattered, only that mattered. There's a famous story, the Chavetz Chaim, His closest Talmud was Rabbi Chanan Wasserman. That was the closest Talmud of the Chofetz Chaim. And it was known in Poland, there were people who knew Shas, knew the total Talmud. Why did they know it? And they had to commit it to memory because they had photographic memories. And there was a group of people who had these photographic memories who were proficient because they had photographic memories. Rabbi Chanan did not have photographic memory. So he says, what's the difference between my Talmud, Rabbi Chanan, and all these other people? Rabbi Chanan knew Shas word for word. Although he had no photographic memory, he says, because since he had such avos HaTorah, his love for Torah was so, if a person would have a diamond, one of a kind of a diamond, unique that there's no other such diamond, even if you have an ordinary memory. If you see that diamond, you recognize it, because it's like a once-in-a-lifetime event. Rabbi Chanan, his avos HaTorah was at such a level that every word of Torah he studied, he revered and treasured, that each word had that special status. Therefore, as a result of that, the level of imprint it made on his mind, on his memory, he didn't forget it. That was Rabbi Chanan's avos HaTorah. When a person has that level of love for Torah, nothing exists outside of what? Outside of Torah itself. This is what we speak about, Ava Mekalkel Ashura, because the only objective is what you truly love.